The biblical priestly benediction, also known as the raising of the hands, Nesiat Kapayim, is found in our Parashat, Naso. During temple times, the priests recited the blessing daily, and after the destruction of the temple, it was carried over to the synagogue. Today, in the land of Israel, the Kohanim in the congregation recite the blessing daily and more than once on Shabbat and holidays, whereas outside of Israel, they recite it only on holidays. The blessing is made up of 3 verses with the name of God included in each verse, clearly indicating that this blessing recited by the priests are coming from God. Quote, "The Lord bless you and protect you. The Lord deal kindly and graciously with you. The Lord bestow his favor upon you and grant you peace," end quote, from Numbers 6. Interestingly, the biblical text mentioned here does not relate at all to the priest's posture of raised hands in a given manner. Why then is the priestly blessing called Nesiat Kapayim, the raising of the palms, when no reference is made to hands at all? How did Nesiat Kapayim become such an important part of the very performance of this blessing? Let us view the artistic visual description that Avner Moriah chose for Parashat Naso. The picture portrays 2 separate but jointly presented scenes. On the left, we see a line of priests with Aaron, the high priest, at the far end, wearing his high priest headdress. The priests are presented against a background of brown hills, perhaps alluding to the desert where they are. On the right side of the picture appears Aaron again, this time without a headdress, but facing Moses, who is raising his hands over Aaron's head, thus referring to the verse that introduces the priestly blessing, quote, "The Lord spoke to Moses, speak to Aaron and his sons. Thus shall you bless the people of Israel. Say to them," end quote. Here Moses is seen not only speaking, but also raising his arms over Aaron. What is Moses alluding to when he does that? The act of Moses raising his arms takes us back to the story of the war against Amalek, when Moses had to climb to the top of a hill in order to help Joshua and the Israelites repel the Amalek attack. There we are told, quote, "Then whenever Moses held up his hands, Israel prevailed, but Moses' hands grew heavy," end quote. This is in Exodus. At that point, Aaron and Hur had Moses sit down on a stone and helped him hold up his arms until the war was won. Moses had to keep raising his arms so as to convey to the people that the victory against the Amalekites was associated with the raising of his hands. The victory was possible only through God's assistance. Further on in the book of Leviticus, we read, quote, "Aaron lifted his hands towards the people and blessed them." That's in Leviticus. Here too, the raising of the hands was associated with consigning the Lord's blessing. In the picture, Aaron is standing with his sons, forming a tightly bound unit of priests. This is a paradigm of the powerful symbol of the need to call upon God's love for the people of Israel. The blessing physically uttered by the priest are God's blessing, just as Moses had to raise his hands in order to receive God's help for winning the battle, and just as Aaron had to raise his arms while blessing the people in prayer, so as to emphasize that it is God who is blessing the Israelites, as it is said, quote, "They shall link my name with the people of Israel, and I will bless them." Numbers 6, verse 27.